Greetings and salutations, viewer. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hello.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and it's the second episode of the new style. How are we liking the style?
Well, I'm enjoying it. What about you?
I'm glad. I had to rearrange our background here a little bit to my tastes, and as I've said before, it'll probably continue to change as time goes on, but so far, it seems like you guys have been enjoying what we're putting out. So, before we get into anything else, as always, we need to talk about what's crumpin'. What's been crumpin' with you?
I started the next book. I believe I'm on book 3 now of Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's good. It's nice to get back into absorbing a narrative, like I mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Waiting on Daredevil Born Again to be finished so I can binge watch that. I've learned enough about myself over the years that that's how I like those, so I'm just gonna do myself a favor and wait.
I'm also waiting until it's done. I don't know that I'm going to binge watch it all in one day or anything, but, you know, I'm not on enough social media stuff anymore. I don't tend to get spoilers. Knock gently on wood is not to upset the mic. And when I do, they just don't upset me as much as they used to. I guess I'm a little bit inoculated to it. I don't want them, but I can still carry on.
Dungeon Crawler Carl remains good. And Audible remains fun. I'm struggling to think of anything else I did this week. What about you, White Raven? Anything else you can think of?
I started watching Wolverine and the X-Men. I've never seen it before. And I noticed actually this week, there's a lot of cartoons and TV shows and music in general in the, 2000 to 2010 bracket that I really was not there for. I might even say so far as like 2014, 2013, up to that point. And I think I was still kind of tapped into stuff until maybe 2003, 2004. I graduated in 2003. It's not like I dove into the workforce with both feet or anything. It's just that
you were in life, you know?
I was just doing other stuff, and it's just so wild to me that all of these things happened that were so culturally significant to nerds that I never really picked up on. I wouldn't rank Wolverine and the X-Men among my favorite X-Men incarnations, but it's interesting. It's doing some interesting things with characters I don't usually care for. It's doing some stupid things with characters I love. I'm not the biggest Steve Blum as Wolverine fan. He's a great voice actor. It's fine. It's just not...
Absolutely disastrous for you, because he's Wolverine from Wolverine and the X-Men on out.
Nowadays, they bring in back a quality voice actor like Cal Dodd, who sounds as old as Logan actually is. We love you, Cal. So actually, today's signature segment is within the crumping. And really, just less than an hour ago, we got back from watching Super Mario Galaxy, the movie.
It was extremely fun. A lot of really, iconic visuals from the Mario games, some fun surprises, some fun cameos, neat action, wonderful, beautiful animation. White Raven, what do you have to say?
I echo your sentiments. I don't think the story was anywhere near as strong as the first one. Ironically, they gave me more of what I wanted in the first one, which were, like, character moments. But as far as, like, strength of story or strength of character, there wasn't a lot of that. It was really just, you know who these guys are.
Watch them have an adventure.
Yeah, they're doing their thing. And that, I kind of crave something with a little more depth, so I hesitate to say this was a great movie. But it nailed the brief.
I would say the first one was probably a better movie, but this one was more fun. This one had a lot more stuff going on. I will say sometimes it felt like stuff... There were not many moments where stuff wasn't going on, but it's a kid's movie, and this one is much more a kid's movie than the first one, in that it's much more jam-packed.
Yeah, it's funny because I would think the first movie was more flawed. But this movie didn't aim as high, so it excelled. Yeah,
the first movie very much shot for the moon. This one aimed a nice shot, just through the uprights and nailed it. But it just wasn't aiming as high.
Sometimes you just take the field goal. You don't bother with making the touchdown.
Yeah, and they did a great job. They hit what they were aiming for. Mm-hmm. It certainly wasn't a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, so long as you go in with the right expectations. Don't go into this movie expecting, like, high art.
Well, and the reactions have basically been from people online that the first movie was better, that this one isn't as, deep.
And that's fair.
A lot of people, of course, are, screaming that it's terrible, but that's excessive.
That's unfair. That's not true, really.
Like, I don't know. I really don't know what you expected. It's so complicated, right? But it boils down to, can we judge all films against the same rubric? Should we judge all films against the same rubric? Or video games or, TV shows or have you?
I think generally our view on this podcast has been pretty clear. The answer to that is no.
Yeah. The Minecraft movie did not change my life. It didn't make me think deeply about myself. It didn't, alter my perspective on other people or show me a world that I never considered looking into before. It was 90 plus minutes of a great fucking time. And I don't think that Mario Galaxy was half as good as Minecraft.
Mario Galaxy was 90 plus minutes of a pretty good fucking time.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Do we want to talk spoilers? Quote unquote, most of these spoilers are in the trailer.
Sure, if you want. I don't really know that there's much to spoil.
There's like 3 things, 2 of which were in the trailers. I guess 4. So if you don't want spoiled, I hope YouTube automatically... Oh no, I changed the images. So just scroll until... I do a thing for this now.
Yeah.
Scroll until you don't see Mario Galaxy anymore. It's done. So the big one, the big obvious one that everybody cares about is Star Fox.
Yeah, I didn't know that happened. I've absorbed basically nothing about this movie. I don't even think I saw any of the trailers, so that was a real surprise to me.
I didn't see the trailer he was in, but I did see people talking about it. He was pretty cool. It and a weird cameo by Mr. Game & Watch kind of opens the floor, as a lot of people have been talking about, for a Smash Brothers movie. I don't know that that's the route they're going. I think it might be a larger Nintendo universe, especially with the live-action Legend of Zelda.
If we end up getting the Nintendo Cinematic Universe and Smash Brothers is the Avengers, I'll take that. That's fun.
We also saw Samus Aran's ship fly off when they go to the spaceport area, so that was kind of cool.
It's they're building it.
Something's happening there. He was a pretty cool character, as much as he was there at all. This one felt so much more like a kid's movie. This felt like what I would expect going to see an Illumination movie. The other big quote-unquote spoiler, again, he was in the trailers, he was on some of the posters. Wart was there. Wart, who hasn't been there since the remake of Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Game Boy Advance. Or maybe, I guess if you count the remake of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Wii. I love Wart. I have a soft spot for Wart and Tatanga, and hopefully maybe we'll be seeing him soon. That was nice. It was just nice. There's a lot of the movie that's very, here's a reference.
South Park has done many bad things for pop culture, but it's done many useful things as well. One of which was member berries. A lot of this movie is that. A lot of this movie is, hey, remember Birdo? Hey, remember Dry Bones? Remember Yoshi? And sometimes that's fun. Yeah, I do. And it's nice to see him again.
Yeah, it was nice. The others... Princess Peach's new backstory. She is canonically sisters with Rosalina. That is what they're going with going forward, I guess, in the actual games and stuff. I think that's kind of interesting. I think finally having a backstory for Peach is interesting. Trying to put narrative to the Mario universe. I don't hate that.
I mean, look, go for it. It's been going on this long without it, so it doesn't need it, but it's nice to have.
The more narrative you add, the more narrative you can have.
Yeah.
If our big complaint about this movie is that there really wasn't a lot of strong story, creating these links between characters and things to pivot around brings you your story. That's how you get them. The final spoiler is in the post-credits scene. I was led to believe, and perhaps this was just straight up false, but I was led to believe that we saw Wario after the end credits. All I can find now is like hoax stuff where people are like, here's footage from an old game nobody's ever seen before. Or most people haven't. It's definitely in the movie. So I don't know if that got reported to me as truth somehow and it wasn't, or if there's like multiple post-credit scenes or something. But the actual one we got was Daisy instead. And she just sort of shows up and like helps a plant man out.
Good for her. I'm glad Daisy's here. I don't have a lot of emotional connection to Princess Daisy. I'm just gonna keep it real with you, folks.
I like that in the games she's unhinged. I like how much of the character of these characters has come through in like weird. It's almost the Dark Souls of storytelling for Mario. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not invested in you in like giving you exposition dumps in the Mario games.
But that's Mario Galaxy in a nutshell. Anything else to report in the Crumping world?
Really enjoying WWE 2K26.
Oh yeah, you've been making some guys this weekend.
For the first time in several years, I'm actually enjoying that game quite a lot. And that's fun to have that back. I was missing it for a few years.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Before we go any further, I do need to mention, first of all, while we do have this new style, you guys are going to be seeing a couple of old style episodes because we recorded a block of Two Nerds Don't Go to the Movies in advance. So those are backups for us. I don't know if you've caught on to that or not. When we have a hectic week or don't know what else to talk about, usually we'll record something like that in advance and then put it up, when those empty weeks happen. So you've got a couple more of those coming down the pipeline before everything will be in the new style. Of course, we'll also record some episodes like that in the future. They'll usually be like crump free and whatnot. We'll just usually focus on the list or what have you. Yeah, that's the long and short of that. Otherwise, we have a Discord. You can come chat with us mostly about wrestling, but you can be the person who starts the conversation on other stuff. There's a link tree where you can buy my books. There's a link to our Patreon where you can subscribe to get gameplay videos a week early. You get Violent Profiles a month early. There are exclusive videos on there. There's going to be some exclusive writing from me on there soon. TTRPG content. Wizards and Whites is my fantasy game. Gialopunk is my urban fantasy game, as they call it. I used to say modern supernatural, but that's a TV show. You can also request podcast topics, games for us to play. There's a bunch of different tiers. $1. It starts at $1. So, yeah, head on over there if that please ye. So we're getting into nerd news.
Nerd news. White Raven has collated some stuff throughout the week. I've done a bad job, so I've Googled some things to bring up now.
I mean, let's start with that. What's more compelling than I've just put in at least half of my ass?
These are headlines. I have no further details.
I can't wait.
Netflix's live-action Scooby-Doo Origin series is starting production.
Yikes.
Yeah, this is the cast.
Yeah, those are young people. I don't know what those are.
Then we have Jamie Lee Curtis's Murder, She Wrote, delays release to February 2028.
I'll probably see it, but I have no hope for it. Well, if you remember Jamie Lee Curtis's last effort in what's the name of that dumb franchise? Borderlands. Didn't go so well.
And the Clueless revival series is canceled.
Oh no, a thing I never cared about. Thank you for your contribution. Your swift Google of 3 headlines. It is deeply appreciated. I do like Murder, She Wrote. Like it's an amazing show, but it was carried on the back of Angela Lansbury so hard that I don't feel like you can really replace the main character unless you replace the main character. They did a book series where it's like her great granddaughter or something, grand niece, and that's okay. But it's still different. The vibe is still different. The stories I collected, which aren't much better. Y'all ever watch stuff on Roku? Have you ever seen stuff on Roku? I feel very Tonight Show right now. So, Kevin Eubanks, have you ever seen anything on the Roku?
Briefly, when I had a job that I traveled for, I was living out of a hotel for like a week, and I watched a bunch of stuff on Roku for that week.
So you're familiar with their little moving city screensaver background thing?
Vaguely, yeah.
Okay. I've seen it a couple of times myself. It is really pretty. Well, that's a video game now. It's called Roku City Dash. You can play it on your Roku. I don't have a Roku, so I can't play it, but I think that's a really good idea. Using those lovely art assets that people feel fondly about to play a game on. That's a cool idea. So if you have a Roku out there in TV land, you can play Roku City Dash. Thank you so much for posting the link to those stories in the place where we keep all of our stories, because I was going to have a hell of a time having to track down those goober faces for the Scooby-Doo cast.
That's why that is specifically just the link to the Scooby-Doo thing, because I knew you would want to put their faces on.
I'm going to have to. We won is the next news story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Microsoft did a price drop for Game Pass Ultimate. It was $30. Now it's down to $23. Now, it was below $20 before. It's still a net increase. But, hey, it's something.
We basically... The whole gaming populace went, oh, you're raising your prices? The fuck you are.
Okay, see ya. Call of Duty games, the new ones, will no longer be included as day one releases. They've said they'll usually land a couple months later, maybe around the holiday season, depending on when the Call of Duty games release. There's also been rumors that they're going to be doing a more modular, piecemeal sort of plan for Game Pass. So that would actually be cool for me, because there's a lot of big franchises that Microsoft cares about that I don't care about. Like, I already own Minecraft. I don't need Game Pass to give me Minecraft. You know?
Yeah.
I don't play Halo or Gears of War. I don't need those things. Another reason for me to buy a Switch 2 has emerged. It is a single-player Splatoon game called Splatoon Raiders. It's supposed to be coming out this summer. I've never played Splatoon because I don't ordinarily want to do big multiplayer stuff like that. Like, I play Rivals, and I played Overwatch, but, like, I really can only support one of those games at a time.
They require a lot of investment to learn the controls, and learn the meta, and keep up, and playing more than one feels like a recipe for getting confused and upset.
Yeah. I do like the Splatoon art and characters and their weird post-apocalyptic fish world. And I would love to learn more about it, and them getting a single-player game is awesome. I'm trying to hold out. If the RAM prices don't fuck me, there's usually a price drop on these consoles after a couple of years. I just want that. I just want to not be early adopter enough to miss the better version, which is what happened to me on the Switch, or the price drop, which is what's happening before. So here's hoping for me, guys, if you could channel me your energy and supply me with a good Switch luck. I really want to play Tomodachi Life, the new one. Oh my god, it looks so funny. And Pocopia, this is not an ad. I would be sponsored by Nintendo. I'll take that. Mario Galaxy was the best movie I've seen. And since I've known how to breathe, since I've had eyes.
Yeah, look, I will absolutely shill for the Nintendo money.
I'll take some Nintendo money.
In what is apparently not nerd news, this was announced in 2021, and I've literally never heard of it. I guess I'm just out of the culture. They're making an Avatar: The Legend of Aang movie, which is set between Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, with the gang from the original series as grown-ups, like going on a new adventure.
No, it's actually a story from Brian Konietzko I see here.
Yeah. Also, the premise seems to, unless the premise is Aang finds a surviving airbender and tries to he finds like a magic artifact that can help restore his culture, and they go on an adventure. Unless they fail, that can't be canon with Legend of Korra, so that's very interesting.
I don't care about Avatar, so I don't really have anything to say there. What do you feel about that?
It's the first Avatar thing in a long time I've been interested in, but cool. Even then, only vaguely.
Well, thank you for that addition to, we say this is nerd news. It's not really news. It's like an editorial. I've written news in the little guideline we have here. I need to change that because we're not reporting on all the hits to give you fits. We're just choice picking things that we think are interesting and sharing our opinions on them. That's why you come here, apparently.
And we're happy to have you. That's all I could get with half-assedly Googling things. Anything else you want to talk to in the nerd universe?
No. In terms of wrestling news, this week we have the good news that Samoa Joe is back in AEW.
Happy to hear it. Good to have you back, Joe. Looking forward to you filming another season of Twisted Metal and getting to be world champion again sometime in the future. We're
still not watching AEW yet, but as things shape up, as things look interesting,
I'm gonna be real with you. People on our Discord have done more to drag me back than anything AEW's actually doing. I hear about, this match was so cool. Oh, you got to watch this match. I do read the Discord, even if I'm not talking much about it in wrestling because I'm only watching, mystery wrestling from Evil Uno right now.
And at that, several years old.
Yeah, so but seeing the people in the podcast, in the Discord talking about how cool AEW is pulling me back. Y'all, it's working.
Well, as you said earlier about unrelated things, time heals all wounds. I didn't think this was going to be a permanent departure from AEW. I just needed to breathe for a fucking second.
Yeah.
Speaking of departures, WWE did their post-WrestleMania releases. WrestleMania was such a, what is the phrase everyone loves these days? A nothing burger that I forgot that this was going to happen.
It happens every year.
Yep.
They always do it, and it's always a surprise somehow.
Basically what happens, for those of you who aren't in the know, is upper management, in this case TKO, reports to Trips and Nick Khan and says, you need to have this many fewer people on the roster. And they go, okay, and they decide who goes.
It almost certainly, this is how much we're reducing your payroll budget by, figure it out.
Or they get to the end of the year and they went, this is how much you're over payroll by, figure it out.
Yeah.
Who knows? But, I'm going to read the names here. I'm going to try my best with some of them because I haven't heard of them before. Believe it or not, we're going to lead with the heavy hitters here. Bo Dallas, who was working as Uncle Howdy, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, and Dexter Loomis, the Wyatt Six, all gone. We are losing, I don't watch the show, Kairi Sane, who was in the middle of a storyline, the Motor City Machine Guns.
They weren't there for long.
Just a couple years, yeah. They had a decent run, but I'm surprised they didn't stick around for longer. I know they're both kind of chasing retirement.
They just maybe wanted to get their WWE run in.
Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. So wherever they go now, they can go together.
Good for them.
Santos Escobar, who was notably released, I think, either earlier this year or late last year. And then WWE went, nah, take backsies. And put him back on and then didn't do anything with him and then released him again.
They wanted to get him in during this.
Zoe Stark, which sucks because she just came back from injury. I'm hoping she turns up in places I could be watching. Alba Fire is now released.
I have the same opinion about Alba Fire.
Apollo Crews, which he's not been doing anything of note, but he has been there for a while, so that's pretty surprising. Andre Chase, which isn't as surprising since now that Chase U's not been a thing for a while, what are they even doing with him? Dante Chen, Tyra May Steele, Chris Island, Tyriek Igwe, could be either, I don't know, Trill London, Serena Linton, Luca Crucifino, Malik Blade, and Tyson DuPont.
I don't know who most of those people are. I will say Malik Blade has a fucking fire name. That's great.
They're all NXT or LFG, their new old version of NXT show.
They're OVW?
Yeah, well, they're the game showy kind of one.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, don't bring that back.
Oh, it's been around for a while. Undertaker runs it.
No.
So, do you have any thoughts
about... Yeah, I have a thought about that. That sucks.
I watch wrestling news 6 days out of the week. Cultaholic, if you guys want to watch some actual wrestling reporting as it happens, they're great. They usually check their sources. There have only been, a very small percentage of times they report on bullshit, and that's usually coming from, what's that idiot's name? Dave Meltzer.
Dave Meltzer just makes shit up.
He just makes shit up sometimes. They're who I usually go to, so if that's something you want to. So, but my compatriot here does not.
I don't watch WWE. I'm not up on any of their shit. I don't keep up. I don't care. You ruined my ability to care. It's over. It's done. I don't care. So I don't even try and keep up. So sometimes I find out about the fucking NXT game show being back now. That's unfortunate. That's a bad premise, you guys. Do not do that.
Did you have any thoughts about any of the releases?
I thought Aleister Black being released is look, I'm not mad at you. I don't know your actual name. But you did up and vanish on me and ruined the best stable in AEW and made them into the Dog Boys. So I am not happy with you. So I don't necessarily know that I want to see Malachi Black come right back to AEW. I kind of would prefer not that.
Sort of how I felt about Andrade. I don't feel as strongly about Aleister, Malachi, whatever, as you do, but it really did diminish my ability to give a crap about Andrade, knowing that he was going to throw a temper tantrum anytime he didn't get his way, just to get whatever it is he wanted. And that the second he had it, and then he, broke up with his wife or whatever.
He's the JD of professional wrestling. Once he gets it, he realizes he doesn't want it, and he throws it. He just throws.
I was going to say it was the dogs who fucked the couch.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a different thing altogether. I am excited for what the wrestling landscape's going to look like in 90 days.
Yeah, look, the other thought I had is the Wyatt Six could just change their name very slightly and just show up in AEW whole instead of having to show up in bits and pieces. Since they all got released at once, wait 90 days, all show up. There's no way they can't copyright weird assholes.
Yeah, they might have to change the masks and they would have to change the masks and the gimmicks.
They absolutely have to change the masks on account of the WWE is absolutely copywritten that stuff. And they've copywritten Bray Wyatt, certainly. But I will say they might have copywritten Bray Wyatt, but they'd have to be real fucking assholes to actually take you to court for it, given the situation.
Yeah, I don't know where they'll land. I don't know what they'll do, but I am excited about what might happen. I think they're all good talents, and I'd like to be able to see stuff from them without having to watch 90 minutes of ads. So,
and hey, if you have to change your name anyway, you can probably broom Uncle Howdy, which sucked.
It's not bad. I mean, for what it's aiming at, it's that, little kid, big scary bad guy, Babadook kind of energy. I don't know if it's my favorite thing in the world. I want to say there's some sort of old-timey allusion to poop in that, and I'm not a big fan of that. But
yeah, a bunch of those releases would be interesting to see show up in a thing I actually watch. But they can't time travel, and I'm watching old wrestling right now, so...
Old mystery wrestling. If you guys could show up in old mystery wrestling, that would be keen. Anything, actually, speaking of mystery wrestling, anything about the episode we watched this week that you'd like to report on?
Psycho Mike remains great. Unfortunately, he's had a terrible relapse of his diagnosed piece of shit disorder. That was unfortunate, but
prayers for Psycho Mike. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. That's some prayers for Psycho Mike.
All right, time for Mail Fraud, where we steal questions from other places on the internet. We usually steal from Chugs and Evil Uno's All Elite Arcade podcast. We have added a new source of stolen questions. These are anonymously stolen. We used to do a bunch of surveys and stuff that we got from Tumblrs and whatnot. This is basically the same thing. We just didn't write down where they came from. So your guess is as good as ours.
You know what? Sometimes when you pop open that blue container, you just grab whatever letters are in there, man.
Yeah, this bag that is here at just the I'm the possum. Have we established that you're the robot?
We mentioned it last time.
Well, I think if we didn't mention it last time, we mentioned it on Elden Ring, which it's a little bit ahead of your time, but your kids are gonna love it. All right, so question 1 today from an anonymous contributor. How has streaming changed your viewing habits?
It's meant I watch a lot fewer movies, actually. I was thinking about this. I used to watch so many movies. I think a combination of keeping track of all the movies I watch in what I have semi-affectionately dubbed movie homework over the years. We've done many podcasts on it. And streaming, and thus choice paralysis, have actually made it so I watch a lot fewer movies than I did when I was younger. Because full disclosure, to pass time amongst friends in our house, if we're all sitting in the living room, sometimes we'll just throw on like a little quiz video of, guess this trivia or guess this movie by like a scene. I'm so goated at those, and if it was anything new, I would not have a chance in hell. So I think streaming has been bad for my movie watching habits.
It has definitely changed. Well, I don't know. It's the facts of life, right? You take the good and you take the bad. I've been able to watch a lot more TV shows because we had a DVR for a long time. And that's how we watched most of Metalocalypse and most of the Venture Brothers. Those were really the only 2 shows. Wrestling, also. To go to our Patreon, you can see old podcasts from back in the blip days with our young and homely faces.
If you really want to know what we look like, you can.
Yeah. Well, what we looked like.
Yeah, we don't look like that anymore.
Yeah, you have woven your back hair into a dreadlock-like hairpiece, and I, of course, got boob surgery on my face.
There you go.
Yep.
That's for you. That's for thinking about.
Draw fan art about that if you want. But I watch more series now because they're all there. They're all right there. And
you know what I do? I watch more like I watch a lot of YouTube. And I watch a lot of like long stuff that isn't movies.
That is also true. Yeah, documentaries have popped up a little bit more for me. I used to watch documentaries back in the day too. But as far as streaming series, I think I've gone through a lot more than I would have in the TV era.
In the era of having to catch shit or DVR it.
That said, it has impacted my ability to watch movies because specifically I think of the choice paralysis. I watched a lot of movies when I was younger on like USA Network.
Just what was on.
Yeah, what happened to be on. It's how I watched a bunch of Ernest movies. It's how I saw Hackers for the first time. And they may have been censored, but I did see them. And I don't just throw things on anymore. And I kind of miss that. I think it's actually what really draws me. So I don't want to go too deep into this, but I recently realized that I've spent my entire life listening to stuff in the background while I am engaged with a more frontal activity, playing a video game, working on a project, yada, yada, yada. And I started watching old 90s and 80s commercials like 10 years ago at this point. And it's the perfect background noise. And it's probably because, as I recently realized, I would do that. I would have, when my parents were away and I was on the internet doing stuff, working on stuff, I would turn on a TV show or a movie. And that specific kind of noise is such quality. But if I were to do that today, I have to actively select what I'm watching. And if I'm actively selecting what I'm watching, I'm probably going to pick something I care about. And if I pick something I care about, I'm going to want to watch it.
You don't actually pay attention.
Or if I'm doing something on my other monitor, it has to be like Minecraft or something that's a little mindless so that I can still pay most of my attention to the show. And that's the balancing act. There's whole variables that I didn't have to think about before that I have to think about now.
It's made it so that we watch fewer movies. It is that the choice paralysis, the paradox of choice. It's having so many more options makes it so I choose fewer things.
Well, and I have a hard time just sitting down and watching something. So when I go to pick a movie, it's more difficult for me to lock in for 90 minutes plus than it is for me to grab one episode of a TV show that's 25, 45 minutes. I might sit there and watch enough of them equivalent to a movie, but I always have an easy exit. At the very worst, if I'm like halfway through an episode of Frasier and I'm like, this sucks, I want to do something else, it'll be over in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas the movie, I don't tend to stop watching movies, even when they're bad.
You sort of just like grit your teeth and get through it?
Because you never know when one's going to be a taxi driver.
That's fair.
So thank you, Anonymous. Good question. You know what? Let's dip into the All Elite mailbag. I went through all the effort to steal these. Let's get into that. We have one from Josh. Josh writes in and asks, Evil Uno and the Chugs, are there any series where you love the first game, but hate the second and or later games?
I don't know about hate. There are certainly game series where I loved the first game and didn't give a shit about the sequel.
Horizon.
Yeah.
Comes to mind.
I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. I used Horizon Zero Dawn's world building in my D&D setting. I loved that game. And the sequel came out and I had no interest. Nothing they did. No changes they made. Nothing. There's no reason. My brain was just like, oh no, we're fine. We're full up on that. We're good. We don't need more.
A more complicated version of that, to draw from something recent. I really enjoyed Breath of the Wild when I got it for my Wii U. I'm not trotting out the Wii U story. If you really care, ask me in the comments. I was rather enamored with it, and who wouldn't be? Breath of the Wild was really cool. But when Tears of the Kingdom came out, and they were leaning more into the you can build a giant dick flamethrower robot car, that's not what I want from Legend of Zelda. I don't see Link in his little tights with his little sword and throwing his bombs and go, man, I wish I could build a giant dick flamethrower robot car in this game. Almost never in a game do I think, man, I wish I could build a giant dick flamethrower robot car, but especially in Legend of Zelda.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
That's a like Saints Row is where you build the giant dick flamethrower robot car.
And I know I don't have to make it a penis. But like I don't want the physics thing. I'm not one of those guys who wanks off on a physics engine. It's cool. I don't hate it or anything. But it's not... I'm not here for this. This isn't what I came for.
I guess the closest thing for me is Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, you
I do not like Dark Souls 2.
It's sort of like the exception to the rule, though.
Yeah, I like the rest.
It's like the inverse. I mean, if we're counting that, Final Fantasy, they kind of fell off after 9. 8 wasn't great either. But there's probably a bunch that I just can't think of off the top of my head.
I guess same. I don't tend to like hold grudges like that.
You know what sequel sucked? Overwatch 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think they deleted that one, actually.
They just re-Overwatched it.
Re-Overwatch.
Fuck it, undoes your Overwatch.
Paved Overwatched it. Let's get another question from one of our anonymous contributors. This is kind of fun, because I think I've fallen off of this a lot. So being asked this question kind of make me, decide on an answer here. What is your favorite actor or actress? Your screen performer?
Do you have an answer?
I'd have to think. I can think out loud if you like. Yours is Chris Pratt, right?
It's a
You've seen all of his movies.
I have not. I guess, I don't know that I have one.
Yeah.
I have actors I like. I have actors who've never let me down. Or at least so far.
Gently knock on wood so as not to trip the mic.
But I don't know that they're my favorite. Jason Momoa, Nicholas Hoult, Henry Cavill. They're generally reliable to... I can trust them to put in a good performance, but I don't know that makes them my favorite actor. I honestly don't know that I have a favorite actor anymore.
Yeah. There's a lot of careers I've followed. There's a lot of people I like when they show up. There are a lot of people that I think are really cool people. Jeff Goldblum and Kyle MacLachlan. usually delight the hell out of me when I see them in something. Does this mean I'm going to go see Wicked 2 Born Again or whatever it's called? No.
Not a chance.
I don't care. That's not a story for me. But, you know, I'm otherwise happy to follow those actors into projects I give a crap about. Scarlett Johansson. I think she's really cool.
She's really nice as a person from everything I've seen, and like, she's a good actress. She's like a really good actress, and people sleep on her for some reason.
She doesn't take shit. She comes off as very abrasive in the right circumstances, and I think that turns people off of her. And, you know, but it's not like she's, you know, I
guess I'm not turned off by the idea of someone having a fucking spine. I don't.
People are weird. I like Chappell Roan, and the internet. Sabrina Carpenter had this recently too. I'm not on. The only social media I'm on, like proper social media with a feed and all that crap, is Instagram. I might visit other ones. I guess Facebook too, but it's very, 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 very authored. I occasionally will visit other ones. You know, one could call YouTube a social media, etc., etc. But so I don't get a lot of the brunt of it like I used to when I was on a bunch of social media. But it just seems like people, the public, are just waiting to be able to take apart someone they love.
I mean, the man himself said it. There's nothing the public loves more than to see a hero fail, fall, die trying.
He's also not one of my favorite actors, but goddamn do I love Willem Dafoe. And his giant hog.
Just confusingly large.
Confusingly large horse cock. I also struggle with, like, my favorite wrestlers and my favorite other things. I think songs are the easiest, and then probably, like, movies, maybe TV series, and then video games after that. And then anything else is a crapshoot.
At this point, like, there's some mainstays that are probably always going to be there, but a lot of the stuff for me varies by the week.
Well, and it's because we're old. You know, we get older and we get less chemical feedback from, you know, these shows and these actors, etc. So we have a more nuanced opinion on these things. And it's really, I'm not trying to say we gotta...
Or less well-informed if you don't want to...
Sure, there's that all. Yeah, I'm not trying to blow smoke up our asses, but it's just that we're not getting as much positive or negative feedback, so everything is no longer grading on a curve.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and that's it. We have to be
And that's
pickier.
okay.
Yeah, it is okay. All right, let's head back to the...
You're just stealing from all the bags.
Yeah, steal out of all the bags here. Donovan has an interesting question to close us out here. Maybe. We might do some more. Who knows? This is a really important part of the show where I speculate as to how long the podcast is going to be. Guys, it's a new format. Donovan asks, what video game mascot do you think deserves a comeback?
Bubsy.
He's here.
Good.
He's getting another game.
Knack.
Bubsy 40. All right, Knack. Knack is a take. Why? Can you explain why Knack?
He's got verve.
Yeah.
He's got zazz. He's got a knack.
I guess. I might have had one, but Knack catapulted that shit out of my head. I didn't usually go for the mascot stuff.
I don't know if you can tell. Neither did I.
No.
You know who I think could come back? Justice for Sackboy.
Yeah, Sackboy was alright. I didn't really play his games, but he's a cute little guy.
I enjoyed the first one of his games. More importantly, that little robot, and speaking as, you know, this is one of my people, I'm allowed to say this, that little fucking clanker stole his job.
We have to be happy for Astrobot, though. He did so good. He's a good bot.
Sackboy walked so he could run.
Yes, exactly. Man, there's some weird little video game mascot. You know what? I'm going to go back to the beginning of the podcast. I'm going to say Tatanga and Wart from Mario. Wart was in a movie. Put him in the games.
There you go. Yeah.
Tatanga wasn't, but come on, man, be cool. I really wish, this is an aside, Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, the one where Wario debuted. It was made by a different dude, so it was a really different, weird kind of aesthetic. I miss that. Like, I think they could have gone places with that. The same way they went with Super Mario 2. You know, that wasn't a canon Mario game. It was, you had Subcon with the Sniffets and the Shy Guys and all that stuff. Come on. Like, come on, let him come out and play. The weird Jason mask with the machete in his head with just feet. That's cool. Let's do that. He brought the ant guys back.
There's so much he said there that I have no idea what he's talking about, but he's got verve.
You watched me stream this game.
I did.
You did.
That's gone.
I don't know. I can't Alfred Chicken. I don't fucking remember.
You know what? I'm keeping Knack.
Yeah, have Knack. He's got, because of his Daz and his verve,
and
right?
his Knack.
And his Knack. Okay. Let's do one more. I know I said earlier, but
No more podcast speculation. Go.
Okay, fine. This is an easy one. How often do you rewatch things?
Almost never. Not never, but almost never.
So I've almost 8 years ago now, 7.5 years ago, I got together with my current girlfriend, and a lot of our relationship has been showing each other media that we care about, activities we care about, that sort of thing. We've slowly been making our way through the entirety of Supernatural. No spoilers, please. I show her stuff I'm into in the meantime, and we burn through the sitcoms a lot faster. And we rewatched Friends, which is something we had both seen, but, it was so much common ground that we figured it deserved a rewatch. And I don't know that I ever want to rewatch all of Friends again.
We did, I've seen the MCU a couple times, like the whole thing.
Yeah,
And I don't know that I'll watch it all again. I think I'm fine on several of those movies. The highlights I might catch, but even then, I'm good. They're pretty locked in.
At this point, unless I'm having a hard time remembering it or need to watch it for like some other reason, like, I'm going to run a game that's based on the Doctor Strange movies. I don't know why I'd do that, but just for sake of argument. Then I would rewatch those movies to make sure I had the feel. But otherwise, I want to watch a new thing. I want to see a new thing to care about. Because, as time goes on, you get those dips where you no longer have. Sometimes you stop giving a shit about Star Wars, Yeah. Because you rewatched it, actually.
And this is, sometimes it's better to leave the memories alone. Example, just recently, a couple years ago, Dogma became available again. It was basically impossible to find for many, many years because of Harvey Weinstein.
He put all of the copies of Dogma in his butt when he went to prison.
And then he ran out of prison money and had to sell them, and it's available now. You can find it. I don't know that I want to.
I was thinking about that, specifically Dogma as well. I heard some quote from it in some video. You know how they do. You've seen Violent Profiles. And I was like, oh yeah, Dogma. I remember, I haven't seen that since high school. I've watched Mallrats and Chasing Amy more recently. I don't think we ever rewatched Dogma.
Because when we were rewatching those movies, Dogma was impossible to find.
Yeah. So, but I don't know that I want to go back and touch that and change that. Sometimes it's okay. I went back and watched Freakazoid recently.
Holds
that was
up.
Great. It was fantastic. I mean, it's still a children's cartoon, and the first couple episodes are clearly being ad-libbed in great part, but it was overall really good. So long as you're not going in expecting it to be the greatest thing you've ever seen, anything like that, not just Freakazoid, obviously, you're probably going to have a pretty good time. Unless you've changed so much that...
And that's more what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned that I've changed enough that I'm not going to be there anymore.
Comedy is difficult. I will use this as an example. There was a young me who really thought South Park was cool. I don't think I would want to watch those same episodes of South Park today, much less modern South Park. I don't think I'd find it very funny. And I don't think I would be offended, but it would be either, wow, that hasn't aged well and makes me feel complicated, or this is just not my sense of humor anymore. And it's the second thing that's a bit more damning. There's a lot of stuff, going through our old podcasts, jokes we were making and laughing about where I'm like, guys, come on.
Yeah. And hey, who knows? Maybe in a few years, this podcast will have some of those itself.
You guys can always go back and rewatch our podcast. The answer to this question for you should be the Two Nerds podcast, gameplay series, Violent Profiles.
Full retention.
Yeah, all the way through. Listen to the old credits music we used to have. And of course, you need to listen to Who's Cool.
Well, who might that be?
Well, I'll tell you. First and foremost is our Trash Elite, a guy from Ohio, and Rob. Then, of course, there is Kitty Holbrook, Destrucity KTL, DG, Drake Starstorm, and Passion Killer 711. You too can become cool by doing, as I said earlier, heading over to that Patreon and giving us at least $1 a month. You get all kinds of great content and our love and respect. Anything you'd like to close us out with?
I really like this new format. Feels fresh.